How do you reach more people with the good news of Jesus? Well, it starts with prayer, not for the lost, believe it or not, but for workers. Jesus said, pray for more helpers. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said from our Bible plan at bible.today.church is from Matthew 9:37 through 38. We're going to read a little bit more for context, starting in verse 35 and reading through the first verse of chapter 10. In verse 35 of Matthew 9, reading today from the NET translation, "Then Jesus went throughout all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the good news of the kingdom, and healing every kind of disease and sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion on them because they were bewildered and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore, ask or pray to the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest.'" Jesus called his 12 disciples and then gave them authority over unclean spirits so they could cast them out and heal every kind of disease and sickness. Now, Jesus is our example, and he had compassion for the crowd, but yet he instructed and commanded that we pray, that we ask the Father for more workers in the harvest. He said that the harvest is ready, it's ripe, but pray for more workers. Now we see the example of Jesus in chapter 9, where he called Matthew and challenged Matthew to be a disciple. But that challenge was with Matthew at work. He was a tax collector, and Jesus went to where he was and then immediately went to his house and was criticized for who he was hanging out with. And Jesus' response to that in Matthew 9, verse 12, when Jesus heard this, the criticism that he was hanging out with the wrong kind of people, he said, "Those who are healthy don't need a physician, but those who are sick do. Go and learn what this saying means. I want mercy and not sacrifice, for I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." So what is the harvest? Well, making disciples isn't fishing for Christians. It's not pulling people from one church and redistributing them somewhere else. Redistribution isn't growth. We need to get our hooks out of each other's boats and into the water where the fish are. Jesus had compassion for the crowd, those that did not have a shepherd, that were lost. And he told the disciples to pray, not for the lost. They are ready. He said to pray for helpers. And the result of that prayer, he immediately sent the disciples out into the harvest in chapter 10 with power and authority. And that is actually our commission as well. At the end of Matthew 28, we have this great commission. Go into all the world and make disciples, teaching them to obey all the things that I've commanded you. We read today in early morning prayer from Mark 16, where Jesus said to go. And he said, "These signs will follow them that believe." We are sent out into the harvest not powerless, but with great power and authority. Jesus said that all power had been given to him, therefore we go. But first, we need to pray. And what are we praying for? We are praying for more helpers. We are praying that laborers will go into the harvest. It's time that we stop just feeding those who show up, but it's time that we take the good news to those who have not heard it. Jesus had compassion on those who were lost without a shepherd, and he said, pray for more workers because the harvest is out there and it's ready. Jesus said, pray for more helpers. How can you put that into action today? And not just the prayer part, but how can you go into the harvest? Because we have that power and authority through Christ. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this is meaningful to you. And if it is, it really means a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. Good morning, Amber. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of the support. I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.